So our next talk coming up is how to earn Bitcoin with your Dogecoin. Exploring strategies and how to maximize the potential of your digital assets is something I think all of us are pretty interested in. So I'm very excited to introduce you to Redouane from Goat Network to dive into more. Thank you.
You share it? Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for having us to present our work. And I think I'm delighted. I don't know if you guys see the screen on this one. What is the title? OK, perfect. OK. I think this is the title is actually probably the first question that comes up. Well, first a snapshot. My name is Redouane Elkamhi. I'm a professor at the University of Toronto for the last 15 years, and before that at the University of Iowa. I teach economics and finance, and I'm kind of the first course on blockchain since 2014. I'm excited to be working on this project for the last 1.5 years, and I'm excited here to present to you two things first. I know anybody who's going to read this, the first question that comes to their mind, why this has to do with Ethereum. First thing comes to, it's Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and we're an Ethereum conference. You have to wait a little bit to understand why that makes sense. The second question I'm really interested in explaining to you, but that will be a little easier, is how do you earn Dogecoin using how do you earn Bitcoin using your Dogecoin? I think I was thinking about this actually while coming here. And I think everybody probably watched Harry Potter, hopefully. And everybody knows what's the Philosopher's Stone, basically turning lead or silver into gold. And that's the first thing people will think about. Oh, wait a second, Dogecoin, let's say, is a very established silver coin. Now it's earning gold, which is Bitcoin. Wait a second, are we back into the alchemy? But let me break the news and the secret sauce for you guys right now. What actually we did, we hired a lab at the University of Toronto. We hired a chemistry lab, and we basically found the Philosopher's Stone by using some of the ingredients. And we turned probably not silver to gold, but we're trying to turn digital silver not into gold, but earning gold. This is just a joke, but just to give you an idea in case you're asking yourself, how can something that's gold be rewarding something that is not gold? And the idea we're trying to establish here is more technical, and the genesis is going to be pretty simple after I move in the slides. But I just wanted first to let people know this is what I'm trying to hit by the end of the presentation. One, how do you transform something that is not gold into having some gold in it? And second, what does this has to do with the conference, which is more of a joke? It means really what I'm going with this, it's what problem Goat Network is trying to solve. The one-on-one, anytime you present something, you're trying, what are we trying really to solve all of this? We're trying to solve a basic problem. We're trying to say, look, whatever curve you think about adoption, if you think this is Dogecoin is here, Bitcoin is here in terms of the maturity, the x-axis is the maturity, that market penetration, two things comes to mind very quickly. For Dogecoin, which is the purpose of this presentation, it's an idle asset. It's only used for speculation, but it's an established one. Can we find a way to make it, to generate some returns for the active users of Doge? Because as it stands today, there is 147 billion on it, 5.4 holders, and out of the 5 holders, only probably 5 or something that actually is using it to gain any attraction, to gain any returns. It means you've got a problem that is clear. The clear problem is, can we be able to generate yield for Dogecoin and for Bitcoin? And what numeraire, what digits this yield is going to be made of? And the answer for this is going to be in Bitcoin. It means if you just leave right now, suppose you leave right now, that's what I want you to stick in your mind. If you have Dogecoin, you can bring it to Goat, and you can stake it in some of the sequences I'm going to talk about, and you're going to be able to earn not Goat token only, you're going to be able to earn Bitcoin as part of securing the system. It means this is really the one sentence I wanted people to understand out of this. How we do this? In a very basic, non-technical discussion, if you have Bitcoin or if you have Doge, and let's focus on Doge for now because of the title of the presentation. Bless you, by the way, for the person who just sneezed. If you have Dogecoin, you basically think of GOAT as this. I don't know how many people know what sequencers are, but just imagine we have multiple sequencers, not one. We are not centralized. We are decentralized sequencers. And you have to think of these sequencers as, think of them as agents that are out there to secure the network. Basically, it's a proof-of-stake network for which there are many sequencers. It means point number one you go home with, what is differentiating GOAT from all the other ones that they actually talk about L2s? Oh, decentralized sequencers. Because the majority you're going to see out there are centralized sequencers. And if you have centralized sequencers, the problem that comes along is how do you share, and what do you share, and when do you share? It means we have decentralized sequencers as a genesis. What are we trying to earn? Second thing you have to think about is that we not only, I think all of you here in the audience know what a proof of stake, but maybe the only difference here is the proof of stake is a vector, is not a unit. You don't only establish proof of stake of one. Basically, everybody has Bitcoin, but it's like many coins that actually can be valued at some price, and those value can help you generate a meaningful stake. It means the way you think about it, you think of these as sequencers, decentralized, 1, 2, and 3 sequencers, just for the sample example. And then you think you come and stake here. And what do you stake? You stake both Doge if you have and Bitcoin. You don't have to stake Bitcoin. But if you only have Doge, you can stake it here, or here, or here, or there. You have a choice. You have a choice where you stake it. And if you have a choice, means what? It means there is competition across the sequencers of how much they share with you. Now, this is the reason why even I exist in the project, because this is a project for which economy has a bigger role in the project. Technology is extremely important, but this project, as a one sentence, is where technology meets economics. The reason we want decentralization is not just because it's beautiful. It's not just because it inherits the concept of Bitcoin and the concept of Ethereum. It's because actually you guarantee security by decentralization, and you also guarantee competition, which actually yield higher yield. If I don't have competition, I don't have a yield to generate. I basically at the mercy of one centralized entity. Maybe it'd be cheaper, but at the end, I'm at the mercy of them. It means the way it works is, give us your GOAT and BTC, sorry, it's staked in decentralized sequencers with an S. This is decentralized, meaning there is multiple sequencers. You have the choice where to stake, and that's produced a basis of the security of the network. It means what is really your role as a Doge holder or as a Bitcoin holder is to secure the network. And the network is not only secured with one token, it's secured with both for now. Now, how do we compensate these people? We compensate them because anything the network generates, this is why we call it sustainable or real yield. The network fees are in BTC. It means think of it as an ecosystem. Anybody who are going to use it, going to pay some Bitcoin to use it. You use that Bitcoin, and you have to share it by anybody who's actually staking in the network. But they're not staking in one entity. They are staking in a decentralization. And they're not staking just Bitcoin. They're staking both Bitcoin and Doge. It means this is in a simple setting why, if you have Doge, you can generate real yield, sustainable yield, in BTC, not in only GOAT token. That's, I think, the one sentence I want you to leave with, but there is a lot of technical things behind it, like all the buzzwords you already have heard, the BitVM, the things, the inheritance, the ZKP, the ZKM. We can talk about it in detail, but this is not the forum to talk about it in details, because talking about it in details, just talking about how we produce ZKM will take us the whole session. It means, just think of yourself if you go to a financial bank. Do you ask how the back office really work? Have you spent some time saying, well, how many people you have in back office? How many people you have? That's why I don't want to spend a lot of this time for you guys to spend time talking about how we do this unless there is question on this. It means if you have question on the details behind it, I'm happy to talk about it. One of the things you're going to realize is that I think the new phase of blockchain has more economics as a have to than technology. And maybe I'm preaching to the choir. I'm a full-time prof at the University of Toronto. That's my job. I've been in it for 20 years. This is what I breathe. This is what I eat. This is what I spend time doing. But I'm only trying to basically tell you that there's a lot of economics in order to secure a yield to the people. You may secure security, but security can come at a higher cost, and if it's a higher cost, there is nothing to share. You, as a Dogecoin, you can stake. And if you stake with me and I'm decentralized and I'm guaranteeing security, I'm giving you peanuts if there is no economics. Because if there is economics, you secure competition. If there is competition, you share the revenue, but you need to generate revenue. And how do you do it? You need a thriving ecosystem. It means there are two parts that are key to do this. It sounds simple, but it's definitely important that you need to be able to generate security at a cheapest cost. Because if you have security at higher cost, there's nothing to share. You're wasting your time. Second, you don't only proof of stake of one thing. Anybody who did Cal 2 knows what a vector is. Think of it as a proof of stakes of vectors. There are vector of things that you actually can stake. It means for now, we only have Bitcoin and Dogecoin. In the future, maybe there could be something else. As you notice, hopefully, I'll complicate it a bit by bit, but hopefully for the interest to see in what this is going. I have talked about, in a simple terms, that this is not alchemy. This is not the philosopher's stone. We're not turning Bitcoin into BTC. We're not turning Dogecoin into BTC. We're making Dogecoin value useful for us to secure a system, but we share with them BTC because the gas fees is in BTC. It means digital nature of gold, which is Bitcoin, and digital nature of the system allow us to do this. Now, really, what do we have more? How do we create all this liquidity, all this system? It's actually in one graph. By the way, you think of this as being 10 decentralized sequencers. I told you before, think of all this as one decentralized, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, and you can choose where to go. Now zoom in on one of them. I'm just going to zoom in on one of them. And everything can apply to all of them. I'm zooming on one. And I'm going to zoom in on what happened on one of them. It means if I zoom in on what happened on one of them, this decentralized sequencer now, if you, the gentleman in the back with a nice shirt, colorful shirt, if you have some Dogecoin and you say, you know what, I don't want to take market risk. I want to keep my Dogecoin, but I want to make some yield based on Dogecoin. It's the T-shirt, by the way. Don't be jealous. It's just the T-shirt is shiny. I choose him because of the T-shirt. I don't know him before. If that gentleman actually would like to use his Dogecoin to make some money, I'm going to tell him, wait a second, let me tell you there's a double dip in here. You're going to use your Dogecoin, you're going to come in, you're going to choose which one you go to. Is this guy good? How much this guy shared in the past? Well, this guy seemed only to share 15%, but this guy did 14, 17, but it's more stable. Oh, I'm going to this. You chose this. Zoom in. If you zoom in, what's going to happen? You basically set your Bitcoin here. You're going to earn whatever the system is earning, BTC and Gold token. And now we're going to create, this sequencer, my friend, what's going to create? Is going to create a yield-bearing token. Think of it as a coupon-bearing bond, for anybody who knows finance a bit. Now I'm creating a yield-bearing token. What is the yield there? The yield is real yield in BTC. What I'm going to do with it? I'm going to generate it to dip again. It's a double dip it, or you can call it liquidity. It's going to be a thriving ecosystem that is now using a yield-bearing token, call it Y Doge, or call it Y BTC. It means, first, your BTC, my friend, your Doge, have generated you some real yield in Y Doge. Second, you're using your YBTC in order to create liquidity in some pair somewhere, in order to do collateral lending somewhere else. It means it's an ecosystem that is actually generated through this liquidity, through this. It means Dogecoin, guys, anybody who has Doge, it has a place now. I know the BTC holders are aiming for 1 million. They may not come in now, because for them, they don't want to take any sort of risk. But it's okay. I'm a Bitcoin believer, and I hold Bitcoin, and it allowed me to retire sooner, hopefully. But in the idea is that this is actually how the network works. I just use him as an example, but anybody can think about it. Now, if you have Doge, you cannot take market risk. It's okay. You keep your old Doge, but your Doge is going to have a double dip in. You're going to earn real yield, and you're going to use the Y Doge to generate the whole system. Means this is in one picture, but I don't want you to forget, this is one sequencer, not many sequencers. Basically, this is just some growing ecosystem that we have partners now with us. How much time do I have? Oh, I have 3 minutes. Okay. I'll skip it. This idea, by the way, this idea that I just mentioned now about Doge and BTC as a vector of proof of stake, it means if you think about unicity in our project, like somebody sitting down and saying, okay, what I have learned. Okay, I have learned probably that now there is this ecosystem for which I can choose where to deposit or where to stake my BTC and my Bitcoin. And I have places to choose within the ecosystem, and they compete with each other to basically secure the system. And whatever we're going to earn, and I'm going to earn not in Kukuwawa token that's going to go to zero. You're going to earn in BTC. Point number one. You're earning BTC, and you have a choice of decentralization when to go. Second thing that I think is pretty important that I didn't talk about, and hopefully some of the questions, if we had time, talk about. I didn't even have a chance to talk who we are. Well, we are a team of, I'm only the economist part, because there is a lot of economics has to do with this project, but this team have already generated very good return for many investors in the past. I think there is one slide here that says it, but that's not the audience of investors. I may skip that. I may only focus for the time. I only have 2 minutes, 20 seconds. I'm going to focus about why it makes us unique for security. I have only 1 minute. I have 1 minute and a half. I choose my time on this one. In order to have a very secure, or this word that you hear all the time, you hear this word, I'm going to inherit Bitcoin security. You hear it a lot. I'm going to tell you next time when you hear it, think at what cost you're going to inherit Bitcoin security. Point number one, I just ask you to think of this question. At what cost this project is going to inherit? Why? Because if you inherit it at a higher cost, you have nothing to share. Point number one. Point number two, our project has, in order for anybody who implement, you know BitVM2 is coming, and it's a very important project, whatever, and we already have a playground. Probably we're the only first project right now that have a BitVM2 playground for which you see an implementation. And the reason we're able to do that is because we have our own ZK proof. Now I'm talking technical, sorry if anybody's not in the area. We're going to use our ZK proof ourselves. It's basically developed by ZKM. And anyone who implemented anything in this audience, anybody, knows that things are iterative. What if I was using a ZK proof from somewhere else? Suppose I use RISC-0 or SP, but I'm implementing BitVM2. I am telling you it's almost impossible to guarantee a cost-efficient way. Why? Because when you iterate the implementation of BitVM2, you have to change your ZKV. And if you don't have access to it, it's someone else doing it. It means we are a team that is proud of the fact that we have internally in-house the House of ZK. You can Google the House of ZK that develop our own ZK. And we add the competition of sequencers and the economic part in order to generate a good implementation of BitVM2. In a nutshell, 25 seconds, in a nutshell, basically what is GOAT? GOAT is a network that allowing Doge people to make money. There is a double dipping. You make money in BTC, not in Kukuwawa token. And basically, when you make, Kukuwawa will end up going to zero, and it's a problem sometimes. You're going to make it in BTC so that you feel you're making it in something that is real. Second, more important part, security is coming at a cheaper cost because we have an economic model that allows for competition across sequencers, which is actually the core of Bitcoin. The core of Bitcoin is decentralization. And decentralization in this case is key because it allows concentration. It means check us out, ask us about the details of the back office. I'm happy to answer any economic and technical question on this one, and times is up. Sorry about that, 25 seconds more. I yield my 25 seconds. Thank you guys, and you share with me my friend, whatever you make on this one. No, I'm just kidding.